Hi, everybody. My name is Mr. Dupa. That right there is Drunk Dave Romero.
I'm here.
And that other guy is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
I'm also here.
Tonight's brew is the Devil's Trampling Ground Tripel from the Aviator Brewing Company. It's 9.2% of deliciousness. It's going to be a great night. This is the One Beer In Podcast. Aluminum clink clink. Clink.
Mine's in a cozy. It's not even making any noise.
Clink clink clink.
We just awkwardly rubbed the cans together.
Oh my god, you're gonna love this.
Wow.
That's good. You cut a lot of your hair this time.
I haven't cut my hair in.
Well, I mean, the last time you got it cut, it's like really short.
I know. More than I wanted.
It's just weird to see it.
He looks handsome.
No, it's a good haircut.
Leave him alone.
I mean, you might want to keep it that way.
Who the fuck you let cut your hair, bro?
My brother.
Did you tip him in just like brotherly love?
I don't tip him in anything, including brotherly love.
Lord.
Do you want to get this podcast started?
Rate it. Rate it.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about the beer?
5.5. 5.
It's a lot of fives.
5.55?
Just 5. Just 5. Straight 5.
Fives all around.
Really specific.
Yeah.
5.555.
I'm doing 5.5.
I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
4.5?
4.5.
4.5.
It's fucking good, but I gotta reserve those higher scores, man, like you said.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm gonna stick with my 5.
Yeah, but you already said it, so don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Don't bother changing it.
5.
5.5.
4.5.
Okay.
Out of 6.
So today's episode is episode 19.
19.
19.
Close to 20.
Yes, we are honing in on it. So let's just jump right in.
All right.
Adam.
Yes. So this one goes out mostly. Excuse me, guys. This one's mostly you, David, because you've been.
I guess I'll just leave then.
Yeah. You should, Marco.
Yeah.
We don't need you to host or anything.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
All right.
I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
All right. So you've been my EDC bro for the past
3 years. 3
Well,
years.
that's why I'm not
3 years,
included
bro.
in this.
Plur.
Yeah.
Plur.
Definitely leaving now.
Hashtag Plur life.
Hashtag vibes.
Right. So yeah, we've been going since they started in Orlando. So
How many years is that?
3.
Well, if you were listening.
Yeah. 3
No, I
years.
wasn't listening.
We asked him not to, honestly. So.
Yeah, I zoned out for a second. Then I came back in to ask more questions.
Thought about who cut your hair.
I don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
It's a good little
But yeah, so we've been going for the past 3 years. I haven't been disappointed yet, really, with going. It's always been fun. The new EDC ad came up, and I shared it with you, and your first response was, nah. And I was not expecting that. And I was honestly, like, taken aback, and I called you an old fart, because I didn't know how to take that. You're usually, like, more amped to go than anybody else.
I don't know, man. I
And
think
when
I'm
you did that, I'm like,
a little raved out, and plus, the culture is just not the culture. It's just all boring now. It's not boring. It's just too much. People trying too hard.
And that was going to be my question. Was my initial sort of thought on why you would react that way was because you feel like there's too many people that go for the scene as opposed to going to enjoy the music.
Right.
Because I feel like we've talked, we had the podcast that talked a little bit about going to Governor's Ball and all that.
Yeah.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit there. So I'm wondering if that's where your mind's at with
Kind of,
EDC.
because it's just been like, I don't know if you noticed, but it's getting progressively more and more just trendier and trendier to do. It's not like people go there for like an actual good time. They're just going because everybody else is going. And I get that. It's just I wish it wasn't all that,
I don't know. I mean, like, last year I saw it, but I didn't feel like it really interrupted. Marco, stop dancing.
Sorry.
He's just thinking about EDC.
I know, it gets him amped.
All the good vibes, man. Good vibes.
Plur. But yeah, no, it really didn't bother me. I didn't think it bothered you that much either. Like, the scene, the crowd that was there.
You know I hate everybody.
That's true. It's true.
That's true.
But, Marco, from like an outside perspective, what do you think of that sort of
Yeah, you coming
event?
with us this year?
We've been trying to get Marco to go since the second year.
Yeah.
Basically.
So for 2 years.
Yeah.
And every year he goes, I'll think about it. And he thinks about it like for half a second and he's like, nah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I understand where David's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, why do you go?
For a good time.
Yeah, so I mean, what's stopping you from still having that good time?
Just knowing everybody is there just because.
Yeah, but don't worry about them.
Yeah.
It's about you, man.
Whatever.
Create your own
When
experience.
did this become therapy?
No.
We're going. I mean,
We're here
Oh yeah, well
because we
that
care.
was my other question. Was I mean, taking all that into account, are you still going?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're still
Yeah,
going.
we're still going. But it caught me off guard when your initial reaction was,
I'm just.
I'm scared of growing up, man. Don't do that to me.
No, that's not it. It's just I'm tired. Like, there's just some shit I don't understand. The point of like candies.
Yeah.
What's
Trading.
candies?
They're stupid beads. They're beads like artistically organized to make masks and bracelets and headbands and necklaces and it's
part of the Plur thing, you know.
Are
like
they
you're-
actual candy?
no, they're beads. They're beads.
Why are
like,
they called candies?
I don't fucking
Marco
know.
gets excited because he thinks he can eat them.
You get candy?
Yeah, I mean,
You
well,
didn't say there were candy at these raves.
well, like
There's free candy? What?
like candy necklaces and shit.
No.
They use that candy to make masks and
No,
stuff.
like-
It's just because they're
Regular.
colorful. I think that's all it is. It looks like candy.
I don't like that at all.
And it's just, I think that's always been like a turnoff for me of like electronic music when, you know, people are on ecstasy and they got pacifiers and now they got beads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, all right, well, this is a bunch of like kiddie shit and I don't want to be surrounded by that.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you do poi and stuff like that, so
I'm
you're
not-
still a little part of that scene.
Well, I want to spin fire, not beads.
All right. Well,
yeah,
If those beads were on fire,
that'd be kind of dope.
we can make that happen.
What if like the whole
or
thing?
you know, you remember the first year we went and it was raining and it was out in the baseball field. I left because
And you guys had
I was gonna catch
sex.
pneumonia if I didn't fucking leave.
Yeah.
And you stayed and you're like, it got really tribal. I would be so down if like instead of candy, people were taking like dead bird bones and making necklaces and
Jesus Christ!
and masks out of that. That'd be so awesome.
You know, honestly, at the end of that day, like it was kind of like the end of the last Matrix movie, where everybody's just dancing and like
There's just like a tribal
There-
fucking gathering. It's awesome.
there's a mud orgy and stuff, and yeah, it was pretty good.
Jesus,
Yeah,
that sounds awful.
You should come,
It's
Marco.
an experience.
I don't want to be a part of that at all.
Have you ever been to a festival?
No,
music
never
festival?
been to.
Not a music festival.
Never.
You should try it. You should at least try it.
Yeah, I
once.
definitely want to go to a music festival, not an electronic dance music festival. Sorry if that sounded
They
really
have
snooty.
they have trap music.
Super
They got
snooty.
trap music now.
Yeah.
I don't.
Just like rap.
I don't
over
like.
everything.
I don't like that genre of music has appropriated that name.
Trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
trash.
bothers me.
It's trash. It doesn't
I-
fit.
I mean, I've listened to it, and I mean, but it should get its own name. Like, you can't steal a genre's name.
Right.
There was already a full genre of, like, plenty of MCs who rapped under that banner.
EDM's now called R&B.
Right, you can't just
rhythm
take
and
it.
bass.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You can't just steal a genre's name, because now it's confusing. Then you say trap music, and people think you're talking about that bullshit, when I could be talking about T.I.'s second album.
You sound real judgmental right now, Marco.
I don't give a shit.
appreciate it.
It-
You're
it
not being
upsets
very
me.
player.
No, you're the opposite of player.
I don't have good vibes when it comes to that shit.
I don't know if you should go anymore, Marco.
You're right. I would just be a downer.
Yeah.
There'd be a black cloud over me the whole time.
He'd leave you out a circus ride.
You're afraid anyway.
Yeah, that's
Fuck
true.
you. I'm not afraid. Let's get this straight.
Don't get on me about
Let's get
going
this
to the
straight right
beach.
now, okay?
You can't even ride roller
I'm not
coasters.
afraid of roller coasters. I don't enjoy roller coasters.
You're afraid of me.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
Okay?
Sure.
there's a difference between being afraid of something and not enjoying the I don't know why. I mean, I don't get why people like roller coasters. I'm just gonna say I don't get why people like it.
You know what causes me not to like things? Being afraid of them.
That's not.
I mean, do you not? I mean, obviously, you got a shitload of speeding tickets, so you like going fast in a car.
I like controlling the speed, maybe.
So that's what you don't like, not being in control.
I don't like...
You're afraid
I'm
of
not
losing
afraid.
control.
I'm not afraid. I don't like the feeling. It's not
your fault.
It's not fun.
It's not your
Marco,
fault.
it's not your fault.
Don't you... Fuck you, man.
Marco, it's
Fuck
not your
you,
fault.
man.
Second intervention of this podcast.
Look, the whole, stomach in your fucking throat feeling and... all that, it's not an enjoyable experience for me. Being nauseated once you get off, have a headache.
I'm not nauseated.
No, that rarely
nauseated?
I get nauseated.
I don't get a headache. Only headaches I get on are wooden roller coasters because they'll shake the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I'm just not into it.
Alright.
It's not.
So what would you ride?
I like water parks. I've ridden every ride at water parks.
Yeah, that's weird.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I know it doesn't make sense.
Like log flumes and shit, like slides. And
No. Like the slides. Like
slides.
I like Wet and Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about like Popeyes and fucking.
Oh no.
I don't know what you're
What's the
talking
Ranger's
about.
name?
Dudley Do Right.
Dudley Do Right.
Yeah.
Not that
Rip
ride. No. Although I mean, I wouldn't be against riding that, but Wet and Wild.
So you're okay with just throwing your entire body
into water? Yeah.
Into water, like not into water, just like water is basically just a lubricant for the slide to propel your body through whatever, and you're totally okay with that. But being strapped into like a metallic cart that's not gonna fly off the rails is okay. You could easily fly off of a slide if it's open.
How do you know you're not gonna fly off the metallic?
Because I'm locked
thing?
in.
You might not be flying out, but it could fly off the tracks.
You saw that
crash and
fucking
burn.
video on Facebook and believed it?
No, what are you talking about?
There's a video of a roller coaster car just going. It goes up for it uses like its momentum to go down and then back up, and then it just goes and flies off. And I think people think that's real. Like if that
people
actually happened, like
on
it
Facebook
wouldn't
is
make
real,
the
man.
news.
Because Facebook.
People.
All this shit on my fucking news feed. It's just it's just a dump truck now, man.
These
It's
two
just
dogs made a
garbage.
cat. What happens next is unbelievable.
Blow your mind.
Click here to find
You're not
out.
baiting me into clicking that shit. Fuck off,
5
random
reasons why you
website.
should click this link. What happens next is unbelievable.
You won't believe what happens next because it's so unbelievable. Damn it. You got me.
39 cat dog hybrids.
Oh, I hate it so
5
much.
SpongeBob memes you can't miss. What happens next is unbelievable.
So there's it's an actual carnival, right?
Well, they have carnival
Bringing it
rides.
back to EDC.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking
Back
about.
on subject, yeah. They have carnival rides.
They got carnival rides and bass and drugs and porta potties where people do drugs in.
It's like everything you'd ever want.
You haven't said women yet. Not once did anyone mention women.
and there's women and titty balls everywhere.
There,
Butt cheeks hanging everywhere,
Where's
Marco.
The titty balls. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean,
you
the
know,
one-
I told Nicole to listen to one of these episodes, and it's gonna be this one.
Yep.
Locking it in. Marco's not going.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. No, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not into that kind of music.
What, women?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I just yeah.
Politically correct, Adam. Right.
I just never.
I would
got
like
into
you
it.
to at least give it a try, though.
One day.
Yeah, okay. But at the same time, like, how much are the tickets?
We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I would say one day is safe for you. You don't have to get the 2-day pass or whatever. Just get one day, go there, see how it is, and then if you like it, go next year.
I will pay for half of your ticket if you buy a 1-day ticket.
That's tempting. Let me think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not totally against that.
All right. Well, we'll get back to everybody
Yeah.
once this decision's made.
And you will also experience the Adam and David best pregame in the world beforehand.
That's wonderful. We have it down pat.
It's wonderful.
It was the most effective thing we've ever done.
Good times.
Good. Okay, we'll come back. to
Yeah,
this.
we'll let people know if this is being locked down. And then, we can probably do an EDC episode.
Yeah.
That'd be neato from EDC. Yeah, right. Just kidding. No one could hear us.
Yeah, no. But anyway, actually, it's not a bad segue because my next topic has to do with music as well.
Whee!
But I'll open the floor to Marco.
I feel so welcome.
Should I just leave?
I think I'm gonna go. Anyway, so this is gonna get a little bit of a downer right now, but there have been a lot of artists that have died before their time.
Oh, Jesus.
So, you know the typical ones. You have the Janis Joplins,
the typical ones.
Jimi Hendrixes, the Kurt Cobains. You know,
Jimi Hendrixi.
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 It was actually inspired by our last topic from the last podcast where we talked about the Jimi Hendrix Andre 3000 movie.
Right. What happens next is unbelievable.
Exactly. That's the title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it had me thinking a little bit, and I was wondering if there was one musical artist that you could resurrect.
I'll tell you what musical artist I would kill.
That's not where I'm going.
Tony
with this.
Bennett.
They still owe me money for that bet, too. By the way.
Where do you think half your EDC tickets coming
Oh,
from?
fuck that.
Deductible. The audience has no idea what we're talking about.
Should we tell?
Years ago, Marco and I made a bet.
Yeah.
Tony Bennett.
Terrible bet.
Yeah, it was a scumbag bet.
Yeah, whatever. We're scumbags.
Whatever. You happy you won?
Yeah, well...
Explain it.
Yeah,
Explain-
because...
You
Yeah.
took the bet.
I'm happy I won because he's still alive. The bet was... I bet, what was it, $50? That he would die in 2011, right? At the
11 or
age
12,
of
80 something.
He was At
The age of dirt.
he was
fucking old.
he was a year before death, or so we thought.
Shit, he won't.
And he's not. He just keeps putting music out. And for some reason,
Doing
he just
fucking
won't
duets.
die. He's
damn
doing
it.
tours. And he's doing duets with dead people. Like, I don't know how he's doing it.
Because he's so on the cusp, he just reaches out and grabs them into the recording studio.
I like to think he does them out of spite. He's just like, I made it, and you did it.
So
we're all
I
assholes.
bet that he
horrible.
wouldn't die, and David, you said he would, and he didn't die.
Hey, it was a...
Look, I'm not gonna
Odds
say it
were
was
in
a
my
bad
favor.
bet. It was a good bet.
It could have gone either way.
Yeah,
honestly.
definitely. It was up in the air. I was a little surprised that he didn't die.
You guys are such assholes.
No, he's an asshole.
He's a beloved
Because he's
crooner.
defying
He's the
laws of nature.
yes, he is.
He's done so much
I
drugs.
don't know how he's
So much
still
alcohol.
Oh.
alive. But yeah, okay, we wouldn't kill him. Who would I resurrect? To get back on
Well,
subject here.
let me give you a couple rules, too.
Okay.
Once you resurrect them, they're not being resurrected, like, now, like today. So you can't say, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix, and Jimi Hendrix would be here
You
right
mean
now.
they never died?
Like they didn't die when they did in their time.
Okay.
And they lived to, let's say, 80. And continue to make music. You know. And so,
Okay. I guess the easy choice would be Tupac. Just because I'd be really interested in
asleep.
where his what his career, where it would have gone. Because I have a theory that he would have stopped rapping altogether and just would have become somebody like Will Smith, just an actor.
Or a dancer, like he was before he started rapping.
Yeah, he's going to devolve back into dancing.
From gangster rap to gangster dance.
And I think he would have been an important person. And I'm not even a big fan of Tupac.
I was going to say that's really an interesting pick for me. Because you always talk about how you think he's kind of overrated.
I think, I think
kinda
he's
is.
overrated. I don't think he was. I mean, he was nice. He was a nice MC. Definitely give credit where credit's due. But to call him,
greatest
hands
of
down
all
the
time.
greatest to ever, rap. That's a stretch in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm not a big fan. So for me to say this, I mean, it's kind of, but like. Yeah, so I think I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I think it would have been interesting to see his career trajectory. I think he would have stopped rapping altogether. I think I really think he was a better actor than he was a rapper, in my opinion. I think he would have done a lot.
What if the whole time he was rapping, he was acting?
You know,
Whoa.
the funny thing is, you say that, but a lot of people make the point that a lot of rappers are good actors because of that. because they're
always putting on the show.
They're generally not real gangsters. You know, they got out of that to be a performer. You know, they're artists, they're musicians. They're not.
I mean, that's why professional wrestlers are always pretty good actors. They're always pretty decent because that's what they do for a living. They're
the business
putting on
of
the
show,
right?
That's what it is.
So,
Top hat.
I guess a better choice would be Kurt Cobain, because I'd like to see what he would have done. Because I've heard the recordings from like right before he died, and like their fourth album was supposed to be just
really, really good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be incredible.
Yeah,
just way better than Nevermind.
Yeah,
just really just off the charts. So to see what would have happened, because grunge died shortly after he died. Yeah. You know, it didn't really have a long shelf life. It would have been interesting to see how long he would have lasted, or how he would have adapted. You know,
or would he have like sold out?
Right, exactly.
Become mainstream.
Like, listening to his music, it was very rooted in like the grunge genre, in my opinion. Like there was pop to it, which was really awesome. That it was like so hard, but it was pop at the same time. But I don't really see. I can't envision him doing something other than what he was doing. So I feel like I see him being left in the past, you know, not being able to keep up because he wouldn't let go of what he was doing. You know, I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll never know. That's the kind of fun
but I mean,
part
from other people, for people who are bigger fans of Nirvana than I am, they probably have a different opinion. They probably think he would have, you know, been able to fucking surpass anything in rock music. But in my opinion, just listening to I have Bleach in Utero and Nevermind.
Holy Trinity.
So it's not like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
But I just don't think I didn't see it. I didn't hear the transition on their last album.
Well, I think that's mostly because the last album was supposed to be supposedly the most pop album that they put out as of that date. And in my mind, what he would have done is pushed away from that sort of corporate structure of music and the label and gone completely independent and, you know, really made more of a hardcore thing than they were sort of on their trajectory to doing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe they could have been the first, like, Radiohead before Radiohead, as far as, like, how they sold their music and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I suppose, because you talked about them having a heavy... I'm sorry, David. them having, like, a really heavy pop influence, specifically Kurt Cobain. And that's because, if you look at it, in history, I pair him up with John Lennon more than anybody else, which was also a very pop-minded guy that did things a little bit different, you know?
You mean as like a person?
As a person, as an artist, too. He didn't make straight-up pop music, but he grew up listening to pop music. So it influenced his songs, his songwriting. It's all pop music behind the filter of grunge. So I could see him being able to adapt that in weird ways. That would have been really interesting to see.
What about, you know, if Kurt Cobain stays alive, that means we get no Foo Fighters.
That's true. Or how about this? What if he stayed alive, but because Dave Grohl wanted to go in obviously more of a pop area, you know, just traditional rock, basically, they split off anyway because they have different...
replace him? I mean, he was the second drummer, so...
Yeah.
It's not like he wasn't irreplaceable.
He was for that sound, though. They wouldn't have sounded the same.
Yeah, I guess. You can hear it in early Foo Fighters, like that Nirvana sound. So I guess, what do you think, David?
I would bring back DMX's rap career. Because that was good.
It is dead. And it's sad. Yeah. It's sad seeing him now.
That was a really fast plummet.
Yeah, it really was.
It like he was there one day and then his career wasn't.
It really felt like one day they just stopped showing his videos and like stopped selling his albums. Like one day it was just like, who's DMX? And they just shoveled all his stuff out of the store.
They burn it in the streets.
Because that fall was fast and hard. And
tried playing the FBI, right?
Huh?
He tried playing the FBI?
What do you mean?
He played an FBI agent.
In what?
In his life. He tried to impersonate an FBI agent.
Oh, in real life.
Law.
When he got, right, yeah.
Yeah,
When he was
went to
like
jail.
pulling people over or doing some weird
I
shit.
forget what he was...
DMX is fucked up.
You know what
man.
he was doing? Cocaine.
Yeah,
That's what he was doing.
It's a hell of a
He
drug.
was coked up.
Yeah, so I think that was the downfall of his career.
Yeah,
That's my short answer.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good answer.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, I'd like to see how badly his music would do today.
I don't know. I'd probably do pretty well. I mean, I don't think he would sell the millions that he sells now, but there's definitely a niche audience for a
he
guy
used
like
to
that.
Then,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say now? I meant
Yeah.
then. The
Yeah.
millions that he sold then.
Hooray,
not now.
beer!
what year are you in?
99,
Is that
apparently.
shirt throwing you back?
Yeah.
I would bring back
Adam?
Randy Macho Man Savage and his musical intro.
His rap album. Did you ever hear his rap album? Yeah.
That counts. It totally counts.
It totally counts.
Oh, man.
Diss records against Hulk Hogan? Come on, son.
Oh, yeah. Slim Jim, yeah.
Adam?
I mean, kind of going off of what we were talking about before, I would have to say Jimi Hendrix, honestly. It's the easiest answer for me because I don't feel like throughout the progression of his music, having listened to it and like even the demos that they subsequently put out after his death, that he was only getting better. And I would have liked to see where that went as far as what direction he would have taken his style of sort of psychedelic blues.
Right.
And where that would have gone, because I feel like he had such a skill on guitar. It didn't really matter. Like, he'd be old now. He'd be an older man by, 2014. But at the same time, I just feel like with the skill that he had on guitar, he could have kept reinventing himself.
Yeah.
To suit the times, because he started off more of a blues player than anything else. And then that changed into, when he went to England, he became more of a psychedelic player.
Yeah.
And melded those two things together. So I would have really liked to see him sort of pair up with the people that he wanted to throughout, the rest of the 70s and maybe into the 80s to see what sort of innovations would have happened within that time. Him meeting up with, like, Stevie Ray Vaughan or something like that, like seeing how that interaction would have gone. I think a lot of people that were influenced by him and... what's his name, from ZZ Top even, was highly influenced by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I think he's definitely the one guy who would be the most adaptive. If we had to pick any of these guys who passed away too soon, yeah, Jimmy was the one who would probably adapt the best.
What year did he die?
Early 70s, right?
Yeah. Well, I know he died at 27.
Right.
But,
Shit.
I mean, yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
They already considered him the greatest guitarist of all time at the age of 27. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, imagine just even 2 more decades of his music.
Right.
Yeah.
What could have happened?
How many
in that time.
awesome collaborations there could have been?
Yep.
Or horrible collaborations.
Or I mean, like we have rose-colored glasses for all these
Deceased
artists.
Yeah.
I mean, what if they kept going and it was just terrible? Like, what if Kurt Cobain just decided, like you said, like what if he just fucking sold out, just started making pop songs?
Yeah.
Because he was an incredible songwriter. Period.
Yeah.
So I mean, he knew a pop melody and he knew how to meld that pop melody into something dirty and grungy but it's still, like, Smells Like Teen Spirit is a pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the songs from that album in particular are pop songs.
Yeah. So he knew how to write a good song. So what if he just he was just like, fuck it. It's just gonna make money. Like, this is easy.
But I mean, based on
It goes against who he was. It
Exactly.
definitely does.
How do you feel about the Jimi Hendrix Tupac collaboration?
I mean, that's something that's not that far-fetched.
No.
If Jimi Hendrix was still alive, it's not something that wouldn't happen.
If they were both still alive.
Yeah, if they were both still alive,
That
I
would
don't...
have happened, probably.
Yeah, it probably would have. I mean, Big Crit did a song with B.B. King. It's not like, And Tupac was somebody who, every musician loved and respected.
Yeah.
The fucking Bruce Springsteen was good friends with Tupac. Like, his shit was far-reaching. I will say that, like, as a man, as a person, you couldn't find probably people on the East Coast, but there wasn't people who didn't like him as a person.
Yeah.
Artists respected him.
Yeah, anybody that met him in person, I feel like, became friends with him.
Yeah,
basically.
it's just the kind of guy who, and that's why when I watch Notorious and I see, I'm a fan of Anthony Mackie, but like when I see him try to portray Tupac,
Oh, so bad.
it's terrible. It's just like, dude, you're not him. You're not him, and you never will be. You just can't reach that level of charisma that guy had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty different.
Not even close.
No, it's just, and I mean, like, Notorious was just bad all around. Like,
Yeah.
none of them, it was just bad casting for all of them, but Anthony Mackie the most. And what's bad about that is Anthony Mackie is a talented actor. I just don't think he was the right guy.
You can't shoot 100%. You know? Whatever.
I mean, if you're a black actor, would you turn down the role of Tupac Shakur in any medium? You know? Like, why would you?
You're gonna be Tupac on this radio show.
Okay.
Okay.
You're right. I am going to be Tupac on that radio show.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I mean, those were all legit answers, I feel.
Yeah.
Except for David's, maybe.
No,
But
that's the best.
I like David's.
it was creative.
It was.
It was creative.
It was thought-provoking.
Yeah, but... Anyway, moving on.
Jimi Hendrix, DMX, Tupac collaboration.
Moving on.
Also something that's not impossible
No.
in this universe.
Moving on.
Yeah, in this universe because they're all dead.
But not just that.
Especially
Not
I'm
just
over
that.
it. I'm done.
Okay.
quit.
All right. Okay. Well,
fucking what, Adam?
yeah.
So, guys, perfect segue to my next topic.
Hell yeah.
So I know a lot of consoles have been revered throughout history as far as being innovative, being just classics within gaming, period. They meant a lot. You know, a lot of people throw Super Nintendo down there, N64, the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, all that stuff, right?
Dude, get to the question.
My question is, what system do you think is the most overrated?
That's a good question.
Overrated?
Overrated.
We're gonna fight.
Yep.
We are gonna argue in a minute.
Overrated.
Yes.
You gotta put the Jeopardy theme song in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good question. Overrated.
Yeah. Most overrated.
Because you could definitely come up with a couple that were underrated, but overrated.
All right, I'll start first then.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good
you
idea.
will.
I had a little bit more time to think about it. So, I'm going to go with the N64.
Overrated?
Overrated.
Are you
Overrated.
fucking drugs? What the fuck?
Are you drugs? And are you on
Seriously?
them?
I am drugs!
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Defend your point.
As much as I love this system, and I have such nostalgia for it, like, mind you, that was probably the first system that I had that I kind of knew what I was doing playing it, you know? Like, the Super Nintendo, I was playing games and, like, I got the gist of it, but I was on that cusp of being too young to really get, you know, the mechanics of things. Like,
I was just a really dumb kid. Like, I was just really stupid. So stupid, I think the N64 is overrated.
okay.
I hate you right now.
I know. That's why I brought it up first. It was, mind you, like, I have really good memories with it. There was GoldenEye, what was the one called?
Dude, just that. How could you say that's overrated? GoldenEye was like the like beginning of multiplayer games.
Yeah. I really liked Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong 64, I guess it was called. Star Fox.
It wasn't anywhere else.
Yeah, Star Fox 64. Smash Bros. That was great. I loved it.
You know.
Loved it.
You know.
But looking back, Nintendo had the opportunity with that system to come out with a disc to finally innovate and finally, you know, be able to use the technology that was there, but they instead decided to go with a cartridge again, and that limited them. They need to equip it with an upgrade chip that you put into it that came later on. They had the Rumble Pack, which was really cool for the time, but, you know, they couldn't put that into the controller when it first came out. And on top of that, you look back on those games, and a lot of them have aged horribly.
That's with every game.
No, that's not with every game. You look back at the Super Nintendo. I'd rather have a Super Nintendo than an N64 right now. Because those games I can play forever and ever. Because those 2D sprites age perfectly. There are games that come out today that look like those games. And the mechanics are still fun. Everything works perfectly. I like what the N64 was doing, but in the end of the day, I feel like it was a prototype that wasn't finished quite yet. The controller was wonky. It didn't really work great.
That's been Nintendo's gig forever, and they still. It's like they make controllers for gamers to rage. I remember when the Wii came out, and the nunchuck made me just hate the Wii so much.
What is this?
I'm looking at it like, this isn't innovative. Yeah. This is stupid and clunky and dumb, and I don't like this. And I never bought one. Yeah. So, the only thing that I can give you as far as the N64, because I disagree. I think my favorite games aged like fine wine on that system.
Such as
Mario 64 is still great to me. Super Smash Brothers, in my opinion, is still one of my favorite games. We played it the other night, and I fucking loved it. Mario Kart aged well for me.
Yeah.
GoldenEye is still a fun game. As far as the way it looks is not very great. The mechanics of it, as far as like aiming.
No.
Okay, 007 didn't age that well. I tried, but it didn't. It didn't age that well. The games that they made, the Nintendo licensed games, aged well. Everything else, probably not so much. But you can't name a game under the Nintendo umbrella that didn't age well.
I feel like a lot of the 3D games look ugly as hell nowadays, especially.
Is that why they re-released them all on 3DS?
I disagree.
Yeah, they upgraded them.
I disagree. I think they still look. They don't. Obviously, we're in the generation of games that look photorealistic.
Yeah, you gotta understand. Like we went from the height of pixel technology at the time, which was the N60 or the SNES, and they were just breaking into 3D.
Right. And that's my point, is that transition was rough.
Yeah, you can't look at original like Atari games and be like, those games aged horribly in contrast. Let's say we're having this conversation 20 years ago.
Okay.
That conversation wouldn't stand because that's just part of the technology and the time.
I think that's a valid point because Pong is still fun to play.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's still.
Do you like Pong?
The mechanics are good.
Okay, but I could tell you, all right, that same game, Pong is. Oh no, that's a bad way.
Okay, all right. Here's a what was comparable to the N64 at the time? What was its competition?
The PlayStation.
The PlayStation 1, right?
PlayStation 1, yep.
And how do you feel about the PlayStation 1's games?
Those aged horribly too.
Those aged terribly.
The 3D ones there's tons of 2D games that came out in PlayStation 1 that still look great.
There was no point in having a PlayStation if they're just going to keep making 2D
right. Why
games.
would you even buy the 2D games?
Full motion video, better audio than you can get out of that little sound chip they had on those cartridges.
Gotta disagree because there are games like Conker's Bad Fur Day, which
Conker's Bad Fur Day is a classic.
Yeah,
I could play that tonight.
It had voice acting.
Yeah, but the voice acting
all the way through.
sounded like this, and they only had a couple lines.
Nope.
You need to go and play Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I don't remember it sounding like that.
That's because you were a child. I'm telling you.
Man.
So were you.
I know, but I've seen these things as a child that could listen to stuff. No, but honestly, in my opinion, those games aged much worse than the 2D games that came out before them.
We got to think of it like this: Call of Duty and all these like Titanfall, all these first-person shooters are the culmination of everything that's come before them, right?
Yeah.
So that's how Super Mario is in pixel art. That is the culmination of everything before it.
Yes.
So coming into 3D, it's a new art, it's a new technology. It's not going to be, as pretty as you think it's going to be. The N64 was the cusp of 3D technology, just like Pong was the cusp of pixel art.
Yeah. I remember being blown away by the N64's graphics when it first came out.
Right, but to say like these games aren't fun to play is contradicting to what you just said about Pong. That Pong was the beginning of its generation, and so was the N64 along with the PlayStation.
Did you say they weren't fun to play? Yeah, you tripping.
GoldenEye is not fun anymore.
I wouldn't say it wasn't fun. It's just not.
It was beautiful. Fun, but it's not fun now.
Okay.
If we were to turn it on right now and play it on an emulator, it's not fun. We
could do that. We could do that, and you better not have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, you better not have fun.
I'm gonna sit here with a scowl.
You better fucking be upset.
This is horrible.
I had fun playing Super Smash when David downloaded the emulator.
Yeah, I mean, certain games still hold up. Like that game in particular holds up. Fighting games would hold up.
No, because that's like saying like, you can't just dog on the Nintendo 64 because
I'm not dogging on it. I told you.
you said it was the worst console. It was the most underrated console.
Overrated.
I said it was overrated.
Overrated. Sorry, it's the most overrated console.
Yeah, I think it is. I still think it is. I told you at the beginning of this topic that I love it for what it is. I'm just saying I think it's the most overrated because people look at it like it's the beginning of 3D, which it was. But if you look back now...
Well, didn't Sega Saturn come out before?
Yeah, but it wasn't like true 3D.
It was, you're right. Sega Saturn with the Virtual Fighter and the Sonic.
Sonic 3D.
It was bad, though. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, but it was still 3D.
That's true. That's true. If you want to go in specifics, I guess that would technically be the first.
Like, but there wasn't anything as not in depth, just as expansive as Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
You know, like, you saw Virtual Fighter and it was, you know, you had a block for a head.
Right.
And a triangle for a nose.
Yeah.
And a couple blocks and polygons for your arms.
And most of these things started in the arcade, too. So it looked better in the arcade with those 3D graphics. Arcade had 3D graphics before any home console did.
Right.
You know? But, yeah, I mean, I still hold true to N64 being the most overrated system.
If anything, to put your point down even more, N64 led the charge, along with PlayStation, to getting 3D graphics in home consoles. Because, like you said, arcades were more popular. They were getting things first.
More powerful, too. When the Super Nintendo came out, that was sort of them trying to capture the arcade experience at home. Mm-hmm. You know, because Nintendo NES wasn't quite there.
No.
You know, it's close, but it wasn't quite there. That's what we've been moving towards since Atari, basically. Trying to get the arcade experience at home. If you play Atari and play the Pac-Man game on there, it looks like bullshit. And it plays like bullshit. That's why...
I every time you say Atari, I think of E.T.
Oh, God, yeah.
Exactly. Horrible.
Exactly. So, ever since the very beginning of home consoles, we've been trying to emulate the arcade experience, which we have, because if you try to look for an arcade nowadays, there's none to be found.
Right.
Because this killed it, you know?
Far surpassed it, yeah.
Exactly. We went far beyond what we could do in an arcade, and we don't have to go outside for it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay. My choice, and sorry Nintendo, it's the GameCube. I think GameCube is the most overrated console.
But do people really put it up on a pedestal like that?
I think people consider it, you know, not really on an even keel with the consoles that came out with it, but definitely not something that was a distant third.
In my mind, like, as far as I can recall, GameCube was like a flash of light, and then it was gone.
It was, yeah.
No, sir, that was the Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast was a flash of brilliance.
Yeah, Dreamcast
that was gone.
Beautiful.
The Dreamcast, if we're talking overrated and underrated, is the most underrated console.
I'd say so, too.
Yeah.
Wait, give it here.
Three-way.
Get it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're right. GameCube wasn't like it was put up like the future of gaming. But still, I mean, it was put out there and, you know, it was successful for the most part.
GameCube was like the start of Nintendo's decline, much like Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn was the decline of Sega.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Here's the thing, eh?
When you're talking about the decline of Nintendo, the Wii is still the best-selling console of all time.
It's true.
So that's not a failure.
Well, how's their Wii U doing?
Not very well. But
can we say the Wii's the most overrated?
No, because it did awesome.
No, but that's its success versus how good it actually was.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wii.
I think the Wii might be the most overrated.
Definitely, because it has its IP. You know, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Anything other than Nintendo?
Just
poop.
Shit
Pretty
games.
Much.
Poop games.
Pretty much.
If it didn't have Nintendo's name on it, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a poop game.
I mean, but it's a hard distinction to make because I feel like they weren't going for the hardcore gamer, you know, and they didn't try to. That wasn't their thing. So we're coming at it at this angle that, you know, did it have a classic game that I want to invest hours and hours into? Maybe not.
No, it didn't. It didn't have a single one.
Well, I mean, it had classics on it though. You can't forget the really good games on there.
Like what?
On the Wii?
Yeah, Mario Galaxy is one of the best games in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Right.
One of the greatest games in the last 10 years. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Those are
that.
both great games.
Super Smash Bros. Melee is
Yeah,
really good.
it's still fun. Like it's even Kart is fun on that. And
Brawl.
Melee and Brawl.
no, there's
No, Melee's on the GameCube. Brawl is on the Wii.
Yas.
Yeah, you're right. What's dumb names for sequels? Just call it Super Smash Brothers 2, 3, and 4.
They all play different though.
Melee and Brawl are the same thing. Those are the same thing. A melee is a brawl.
What's the deal with the naming of Melee and Brawl?
Yeah,
I'll give you it had its staple games that were good, but overall, like, motion controls didn't work. I mean,
I have to disagree with that.
you had to buy the extended pack to make it work better.
And then you have to buy the motion plus adapter.
Yeah.
So
well, that's been Nintendo's thing since day one.
Yeah, making you buy this extra shit to make
stuff.
what you already have work better.
Yeah.
Or work up to what they led you to believe it was already working up to.
Right.
Well, mind you, they came out when HD was the whole thing, and they were behind, and they're perpetually trying to catch up. That's Nintendo's main problem.
Oh, going back to what you said about how they made the console not geared towards hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
But they still created a console. It's not our fault that their intent was to ignore, 70% of the gaming population.
I think it was the perfect strategy because they're not trying to be the 360. They're not trying to be the PlayStation 3.
It was a good way to get into homes that weren't hardcore gamers. Like, this was family-oriented gaming.
It was smart because they knew they couldn't compete. So they said, we're not going to compete. We're going to go after entirely different... Right. That's smart, but at the same time, you can't give them that caveat when you're comparing the consoles. They just wasn't as good. It wasn't as powerful. They didn't make as good as games. It's not our fault as a consumer that they didn't gear it towards me. You know, just because, like music, for instance, like if an artist is saying, look, I'm not making this music. I am a gangster rapper, but I'm not making this music for gangsters. I'm making it for women. Mm-hmm. I can still judge it from a perspective like, okay, that's fine, but this music's still terrible.
I don't feel that way about the Wii though. I don't think it's a terrible system.
Oh no! I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just giving a point that just because you gear it towards something else doesn't mean I'm not allowed to judge it from the same standpoint as I judge something else.
You're going to judge it based on your own perspective.
But if it's all in the same realm as in console gaming, it needs to be judged on that merit alone.
And it was Nintendo. That system was completely vulnerable. And when people hacked it, and I hacked it, I was able to put all my emulators on there. That was neato.
That kind of gives it more points. You're kind of helping its case now.
I don't want it to fail, though.
Well, I was going to help its case.
I don't want any console to be underrated or overrated.
Yeah. That's true. Okay. Yeah. Why would anybody want... You're right. You don't want that.
Yeah. That's why I posed the question, because I know it's a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
And I wanted you guys to kind of think about it. Because generally, we love video games. I don't think there's one system that would be like, that one was bullshit.
Yeah.
Out of any, like, the main contenders.
Each console has its perks, but when it comes to...
Sega Saturn? Yeah. As much as I like Sega, I can't really...
We had the Genesis, and then my dad bought the Sega CD add-on.
Oh, Jesus.
And we had this game called, like, Shark Tunnel or some shit. It was the weirdest fucking thing, because it was, like, video game, it was, like, 3D... And then it had the actors in it.
The video, yeah.
Oh, God. It was weird, man, because you would, like, fly in sewers trying to find, like, shark. You guys haven't heard of this game?
I have not.
Remember it? It's a horrible game, but I remember playing it and having a whole bunch of fun because I was a dumb kid. But that's my nostalgia to Sega.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sega Saturn. I think, I don't think we can...
No, Sega Saturn sucked. I'll say Sega Saturn.
It sucked, but it wasn't overrated. It's not like, like Adam said, same with the GameCube. It's not like anybody was saying that the Saturn was
the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Except for
Sega. Except for Sega, yeah. So yeah, I don't agree with the N64.
Nope.
I think it was, I think it deserves its place in history.
Yeah.
I don't think it was overrated.
I think that it's put up a little bit too high. I feel like people have that wave of nostalgia about it. That I do too. Like, I've had to step outside of myself and kind of look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, there's no way you can hate on it, bro.
No, I don't.
Donkey Kong Country was awesome.
Yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie was awesome.
Yeah. There's a whole stable
Party.
classic games on that system.
Yeah.
And I have great memories.
And you know
for all
what?
those games.
Even though that controller looked weird, I think it played perfectly.
Yeah, it was
the way it was
comfortable
set
as hell.
up, I think it was
Except
a really
for
good controller.
first-person shooters, because
Yeah.
looking with this hand and moving with this hand,
Yeah, that
and
was
then,
weird.
the D-pad was over
That was
here.
weird. The D-pad was too far on the
Yeah.
controller. It's just too much. You had to make a movement to get
Yeah.
to the D-pad. Luckily, they didn't use the D-pad that much.
Yeah.
And they were moving towards the joystick, the analog stick, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
I think they called it a joystick.
Well, you
Joystick.
see it even on the Wii. With the little
The nunchuck.
the nunchuck that has the same basic setup as that weird
And it's got
knob.
the Z button on the
And the
back.
Z button.
I think they took chances with it with the C buttons,
Yeah, that was weird.
the Z button, and then the triggers. I think it took chances. They paid off for me for the most part.
Mm.
I didn't think it was like the GameCube controller, for instance. Is that was the reason that I thought about GameCube first was the controller.
Mm.
It's I think it has to be the worst controller.
Really?
Ever.
I think so.
Yeah, it was
I don't think is there a worse
shitty.
controller? Even though I raised when I saw the Wii controller, once I got used to the nunchuck, I felt comfortable with it.
That's because they make the controller so it's like, all right, well, there's nothing in between, but this is how controllers feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the GameCube was like, all right, well, here's the controller, and then here's a button here and here, and on this side there's an extra button. Also, there's an extra joystick that's
Yeah.
not symmetrical with the controller, but
You
it's
don't
going to
really
be
use
there.
it, but it's there.
And here's the A button, and the B button's over here on this side, and
Right.
the C button's on this side.
It was all over the place.
It was-
It's like they just had a bag of buttons and they just threw it.
I didn't like how colorful they were. Honestly.
It was too much, way too much, way too many colors on one controller.
Yeah, and like
To
it came
denote
standard
nothing.
purple too. The general
Yeah.
system and controller were purple.
And it felt gross in your hands. I'm like, you can't visualize what I'm doing, but like crunched up fists. That's
Yeah.
what it was. It was just
Controller
like,
way
what
too
is
tiny.
this thing?
Way too tiny.
Yeah, it was
Worst
bad.
controller
It's got to be the worst.
ever.
I don't know if I agree with that.
What's worse?
I'm not sure, but I'll get back to you.
No, because there is no worst.
There can't be
Well,
anything worse.
See, here's the thing: like people that play Smash Bros. Still play on that controller.
For some reason.
It's their favorite controller to play Smash
I
on.
don't know why.
I don't think it's a bad controller.
I think the N64 controller is the best one to play Super Smash.
Maybe
Bros.
because I'm used to like the DualShock and it's similar to the DualShock, but I don't know. I don't think it's that bad.
I don't want to ask because I think this would prompt more conversation.
We don't want any of that on our conversation podcast.
God forbid we talk a little bit more. I was just gonna say, I mean, is it kind of understood that the PlayStation 2 is kind of like it, or do you think they're?
What do you mean it?
I mean, like, okay, of course, the PlayStation 3, as far as its power and its potential and what it did, far surpassed the PlayStation 2.
Right.
But when it came out, I mean, the impact that it had, the games that were on it, everything about it, like okay, here's a good example. Like, obviously, musicians now are better for the most part than musicians back in the day, right? Like, okay, all right, not in rock, but like let's say for rap, for instance, like
Okay.
a guy like Rakim is a
Right.
legend,
Yeah.
but there are MCs who technically rap better,
Okay.
and they learn from him,
Yeah.
but they're better than him.
Well,
You're making consoles rappers?
No, yeah,
Actually,
sort
no,
of,
no,
sort
actually,
of.
hold
You
on.
see where I'm going with
I
this?
get what you're talking about.
Same.
Because because rap is sort of a new art,
Yeah,
and so is video game consoles.
Right.
So that kind of makes sense.
it does.
It's a good parallel.
There's a connection there.
Yeah.
So Rakim, for instance, everybody says he's one of, if not the greatest, depending on who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there are people who now are better than him. Comparing that to console gaming, like obviously there are consoles better than the PlayStation 2 now.
Right.
But as far as the impact that the PlayStation 2 had when it came out, could it be considered the best console?
I think so.
Yeah.
That'd probably be my
I
pick.
mean, in line with your analogy, the way that Rakim and other rappers back then are considered rap or legends now because they helped usher in that era.
Right.
That PlayStation 2 was one of the consoles that helped transition arcades to home gaming.
Right.
In that same sense.
So
And
as
it
far
had
as, like-
just a powerhouse of supporters behind it for everything.
So just like as far as the legacy of gaming goes, obviously, the consoles now are more powerful, but the PlayStation 2 has to be the best,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, PS1 started the disc era, I feel. Sega did it first, but they didn't really do it,
Right.
all the way. Yeah.
Right.
It was an add-on. PlayStation was very strong in saying CDs are the future of gaming.
Yeah.
And they took that stance, and then it worked, and then they continued with it with PS2, and they ushered in the era of the DVD. I say right now that they are the sole reason DVD caught on. Because people could buy a cheap game player that also was a DVD player, put it in their house, and it's like a full entertainment system.
Yeah.
Now, they were also the reason why we have these game systems that come out that all the execs are saying is a full entertainment system. It's not just a gaming system. Because that was started by PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just a gaming system. You could put your CDs on there. You can put your DVDs on there. And it became an entertainment system.
It'll play your music, it'll play your movies, it'll play your games.
Yes. Home entertainment system. That's what the deal was with that. So that ushered in that era as well, which is kind of the downfall of PlayStation for PS3. Because they thought they had it in the bag.
Right.
They came out with a $599 price tag or whatever it was, right? It was
it was something crazy.
It was
like
$600
that.
when it came out.
US dollars. And they thought they had the public in the bag, and then they realized, oops, we can't do whatever we want.
Right.
And they became humbled, and then PS4 came out, and it's been a big success for them. So it's all been a lesson that I feel was prompted by the PS1, but was sort of perfected in PS2 with the DVD era coming out.
All right.
So, because that was my first DVD player.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Xbox didn't play DVDs.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did.
It played movies?
It did.
I've never watched a movie on Xbox.
Yeah, well, because PS2 had come out earlier than the Xbox. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we can safely say that we disagree with you totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
as usual.
That was a doofus.
I still love N64, just in case anybody's wondering. Don't send me hate mail, but I just feel like it's a little overrated.
All
right.
Hate mail.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to kind of wrap this motherfucker up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. My name is Mr. Dupa.
My name is Mr. Dupa.
And my name is Mr. Dupa.
Catch us at
MrDupa.com.
onebeerin.wordpress,
About the Mr. Dupa.
YouTube.com/onebeerin. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social networks. Please follow, we will follow back.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening, and have a great night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.